Today, we're diving into a really fascinating philosophical essay that gets at a problem I think we've all felt. Why do some beautiful ideas, some big truths, feel like they're just right there, but totally out of reach?
You know that feeling, right? Maybe it's a piece of music you can almost hear in your head, but you can't play it. Or a painting you can see so clearly, but just can't get onto the canvas. It's this profound feeling you just can't quite put into words. Well, one writer felt this so intensely it actually led him to a huge breakthrough about how the world works.
So, our journey today starts not with some grand answer, but with a question. A really frustrating and baffling question that came from a serious creative block.
The author of the essay we're digging into found himself completely, utterly stuck. He had these unbelievable visions, these incredible ideas swirling in his mind, but every time he sat down to write, nothing. And this wasn't just your garden variety writer's block. It felt like something much deeper, almost like a lock he didn't have the key for. So what was he trying to get down on paper? I mean, this was some pretty epic stuff. He was aiming for things way beyond the everyday. He wanted to describe these sublime otherworldly places with names like the 10,000-year realm and the Fairy Island archipelago. To him, these were real, vivid, beautiful worlds he could almost touch, but he just couldn't find the words.
So naturally, he had to ask himself a pretty tough question. Am I just being lazy here? Or is there some deeper, more profound reason that these beautiful visions are being kept from me? And that one question, that simple bit of self-reflection, kicked off a whole new way of seeing everything.
And that leads us straight to his big breakthrough moment. See, after wrestling with this creative paralysis, he didn't just stumble upon a new writing trick. Nope, he felt he uncovered a fundamental principle of existence itself. And here it is, the core idea of his entire essay. He came to believe that the most beautiful things in the universe, well, they aren't just up for grabs. They are, in a way, waiting. They're waiting for lives that are actually prepared and qualified to experience them.
Now, his definition of a beautiful life is absolutely crucial here. He makes it crystal clear. This has nothing to do with how much money you have, your job title, or your social status. Not at all. It's all about your inner world, your purity, your character, your level of being. It's about reaching a higher, more elevated state of consciousness.
Okay, so if our inner lives exist on some kind of hierarchy, what does that actually look like in practice? To make this abstract idea feel a bit more real, the author uses a really powerful analogy: gemstones.
But first, he starts with a simpler one. Just picture a hotel. Most of us, we stay in the standard rooms, right? The fancy presidential suite, it's there, but it's reserved for a very select few. He argues that life's experiences are kind of tiered in the same way. Access is granted based on having the right qualifications.
But his main metaphor is even more powerful. He suggests that people themselves exist on different vibrational levels, almost like a hierarchy of gemstones, where each stone has its own unique quality, its own rarity, its own light.
Let's actually look at this hierarchy he lays out. At the very top, you've got the diamond level. These are people so pure they almost seem to give off this transcendent heavenly vibe. Just below that, you might have your ruby and sapphire types. The vibrant, smart, fun people who are just a total joy to be around. And then, as you go down the scale, you get to pebbles, folks who just kind of make you feel uncomfortable for some reason, and finally, stones, just plain and uninspiring. The key idea here is that your level determines what you're even capable of seeing and experiencing.
So if this principle applies to people, the author then takes this idea and blows it up to a cosmic scale. He asks a really big question about one of humanity's oldest, most powerful concepts.
Think about it. We have at least 5,000 years of recorded human civilization. That's millennia of myths, religions, philosophies, and art.
And yet, in all that time, the author asks this really provocative question: why are there no truly detailed, convincing, and consistent descriptions of a place like heaven? I mean, the accounts we have are often so vague or fragmented, or they completely contradict each other. Why is that?
His answer comes right back to his main idea. It's not that heaven doesn't exist, it's that the experience of heaven is an incredibly beautiful thing, and it's waiting for a beautiful life to enjoy it. To even perceive it, let alone describe it accurately, you first have to achieve that incredibly elevated inner state.
And this logic, he says, doesn't just stop with heaven. He suggests it applies to all sorts of profound cosmic secrets, from supposed supernatural abilities to even the most sublime hidden corners of our own planet. They're not just there for anyone to find, they're reserved for those who are truly ready.
But what happens when this principle gets violated? What happens when a truly beautiful thing comes into contact with an unbeautiful life? Well, the author has a very, very strong word for this kind of mismatch.
He uses a classic and pretty blunt analogy, a fresh flower in cow dung. It's a shocking image, right? But it perfectly captures that jarring, tragic feeling of a beautiful thing in totally the wrong place. The flower's beauty isn't just wasted, it's actively tainted by what's around it.
Think about it like this. A gorgeous gem on a royal crown. That's a perfect match. It enhances both the gem and the crown. But take that exact same gem and put it on a dirty, rusty anklet? Well, that's a desecration. The gem's value is diminished, and the whole combination just feels wrong, deeply disharmonious.
And he really doesn't pull any punches here. He calls this a desecration and offers another, even more shocking analogy. It's like preparing the most magnificent gourmet banquet you could ever imagine and then serving it in a toilet. The beauty isn't just lost, it's actively insulted and degraded.
So the whole point of this is that the most important job we have is to protect our inner state. We have to try to be like the lotus flower, which, as the saying goes, grows out of the mud but remains completely unstained. Or like the ancient scholar who chose the purity of bamboo over the indulgence of meat. Because, and this is his big warning, once that inner purity is lost to pollution, it is incredibly, incredibly difficult to get it back.
And this brings us right back to where we started, to his writer's block. He concludes that while this desecration of beauty can and does happen all the time here on Earth, the truly sublime beauty of realms like heaven is absolutely protected from it. You just can't get in unless you are a vibrational match. And that's why his 10,000-year realm stayed just out of his reach. He felt he hadn't yet become the beautiful life that was required to truly see it and describe it.
So this all leaves us with a final thought to mull over. If our inner state really does determine the beauty we can access in the world, then what in your life, your creativity, your peace of mind, your character, is so valuable that it's worth protecting from all the pollution out there? What beautiful thing might just be waiting for you?